All right, welcome to Hoops Tonight here at The Volume. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope all of you guys have had a great start to your week. Got a quick show today. We recorded over an hour with Carter Rodriguez from the Chasetown podcast, a deep dive on the undefeated 12-0 Cleveland Cavaliers earlier this morning. That's going to be airing tomorrow morning on our feed. And then tonight, we're going live after the final buzzer of Mavs Warriors on YouTube, which I'm very excited about. But I have a tiny little window of time here in the mid-morning, and I wanted to get a show out for today. But to do something quick, I thought it'd be fun to take a quick peek at the MVP ladder, right? So we're, roughly 1/8 of the way through the season, right? 13% of the way through the season. This obviously is not the time when you're going to make any sort of final decision about the MVP race, but it's a nice time to take a look at the early chunk of the season and see who's impacting their team the most. So we're going to talk about my current top 5 in the MVP race, and then we'll get out of here for the day. You guys know the drill. Before we get started, subscribe to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel so you don't miss any more of our videos. Follow me on Twitter at _JasonLT so you guys don't miss show announcements. Don't forget about our podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts under Hoops Tonight. Don't forget it's helpful if you leave a rating and a review on that front. We also have new social media feeds on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the Hoops Tonight channel. We're going to be releasing a lot of reels and stuff like that, so make sure you guys follow those feeds. And then last but not least, keep dropping mailbag questions in YouTube comments on Friday. I'm going to be recording a long mailbag that's going to be running over the weekend. I'm actually going to be recording it on Thursday, so make sure you drop as many of those questions as you can in the YouTube comments before Thursday. And then last but not least, before we get started, I want to talk to you guys about Game Time. They have an incredible ticket buying experience. I've personally used them many times. I've consistently had the best experience I've had with the ticket buying app with them. I'm very thankful that we have a partnership with them. I encourage you guys to try it out. The Game Time Picks is the new change that they've brought here in the last few months. And what it does is it takes a normally convoluted process, like when you go to an event and you see just thousands of tickets, and it curates the feed and shows you just the best deals from that event. So you can be a lot more efficient while you're looking through tickets. And then from there, you have all-in pricing. You know exactly what you're paying before you go check out. You know what the view from your seat's going to look like. It's an easy process. You can check out in as few as 2 taps. It is just very smooth. It's very smooth, and you consistently can find great deals there. And as much as we enjoy watching these games at home, there's nothing like being there in person. And there's just so many great events to go to right now with the NFL in full swing, college football and basketball in full swing, the NBA in full swing, concerts, comedy shows. There's so many different things for you guys to get out and see. I encourage you guys to check it out. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code HOOPS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code HOOPS. That's HOOPS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right. Nice, quick show today. Starting our MVP ladder with number 5. I was kind of on the fence here. Before last night, I probably would have leaned towards Anthony Edwards, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a big breakout game against the Los Angeles Clippers last night. Got that pull-up three-point shot going. He is now up to 28, 6, and 7 on the season on 62% true shooting. Again, early in the season, it was a little bit clunky as he was working on that three-point shot. He's taking over 5 off the dribble threes per game so far this season when he was at just 2.6 last year. And again, it was a little bit sloppy, but he hit 4 of them against the Clippers last night, and that led to his career-high 45 points. Again, there's a lot of upside to perimeter shooting outside the three-point line when you're good at getting yourself open. And if you're not willing to take those pull-up threes when a defender is sitting back to try to contain your drive or chasing you over the top of the screen in a ball screen, you're giving up an opportunity to get an efficient shot up if you're capable of knocking that shot down. And again, when you talk about real volume scoring, like career-high type stuff, consistently getting into the high 30s, into the 40s, that's where that three-point shot becomes a real ceiling raiser for you, right? It's not going to be there every single game. You're going to have games where you shoot 4 of them and you go 1 for 4, but you're also going to have games where you shoot 7 or 8 of them and you make 5 or 6. And on those kinds of nights, that's when you can have truly explosive scoring. But if you operate entirely from the mid-range and around the basket, just because of how much congestion there is down there and because of the value of those shots, it's harder to hit the really high point totals. And so again, it was an investment. I thought even in the early part of the season the Thunder knew, like especially with some of the lighter schedule they were playing at the very beginning of the season, like it just made sense for him to get the lumps out. Be willing to miss some shots as you try to add that to his game. And that could be something that ends up being a big tool for him down the line. He's also been the best ISO player in the league this year. He's ran 108 ISOs at 1.22 points per possession, including passes. That's the highest among the 3 players in the league to run at least 100 ISOs to this point in the season. And when you drop it to 50 ISOs, we have 13 players, and he still ranks 4th in efficiency on that list. The Oklahoma City Thunder offense has fallen apart every time he's left the floor. They're 16 points per 100 possessions worse on offense when he is off the floor. The Thunder are off to a 9-2 start. The challenge is going to get more difficult from here with Chet Holmgren being out, starting small ball groups, a lot of small lineups. It's going to be even harder for Shai over the course of the next few months. But at this point in the season, I have him at 5th in our MVP ladder. Number 4, Jayson Tatum. This was a surprise for me. I did not think of him as a guy that would kind of crack into the top 5 of the MVP voting this year. If you guys remember before the season, I kind of thought of this as a spot for Ant. Tatum's been better than Ant to start this season by a pretty wide margin. 31 points per game, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 62% true shooting. He's 3rd in the league in scoring, overall scoring volume at this point. Tweaked his shot profile a little bit, really doubled down on the analytically smart approach to scoring volume. So really increased his 3-point rate, and really has been working hard to get to the line. 57% of his shot attempts this year have been from 3. That was 43% last year. So a 14% increase in the percentage of his shots that come from three-point line, from the three-point line. And then the free throw rate is insane. So like, again, free throw rate is usually factored in or calculated as the number of free throw attempts you take per field goal attempt. And so in ISO situations, Tatum is getting 0.41 foul shots per field goal attempt. That's insane. In post-up situations, he's getting 0.56 free throw attempts per field goal attempt. He's getting fouled on 22% of his post-ups. That is completely outrageous. Like, that is more than 1 out of every 5 times he catches the ball in the block, he's going to the foul line. And so the result of that, by virtue of increasing his 3-point volume, by virtue of working a lot harder to get to the line and some of the stuff that he's been working on over the last few years in terms of grifting, which again, when it comes to the grifting, like I root for the Lakers. I've got Anthony Davis, who's a grifter. I've got Austin Reeves, who's a grifter. Like I'm not anti-grifting. I'm anti-grifting with the league and with officials. I want them to solve that problem. As far as the players go, you're just a competitor and you're trying to win. And quite frankly, you're an idiot if you don't take advantage of the rules that are available to you. Like, you know, there's a conversation going around the league of whether or not they need to do something to fight 3-point volume. And there's a conversation to have about that. I don't think the Celtics really are the problem because they play pretty basketball, but there are a lot of teams out there taking a lot of really stupid threes and that it's ugly to watch. But as long as the 3-point shot is the way that it is, and as long as it's worth 50% more per make than a 2, then you should be taking advantage of it as long as you can make them. And he's been shooting the ball so well off the catch this year. He's over 1.2 points per jump shot in off the catch situations. And as a result, he's having the highest scoring volume and efficiency season of his career. He's also been a super high efficiency ISO guy. Just like Shai, he's second to Shai on that 100 ISOs list. He's had 113 points, including passes, on 101 possessions. He's one of the most versatile defenders in the league that can be deployed in so many different ways. The Celtics are better on both ends when he's on versus when he's off. Now, it's not as big of a gap as you see with some of the other MVP candidates, but that's to be expected. The Celtics are the most talented roster in the league, but they have been better with Tatum on the floor on both sides of the ball. He's having the best season of his career. Can't say enough about how good Jayson Tatum has been to start the year. Number 3, Anthony Davis. 31 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists per game, 66% true shooting, and over 2 blocks per game. 80% of what makes the Lakers great. Or I shouldn't say great because I don't think the Lakers are great. But 80% of what makes the Lakers a good team is Anthony Davis. The Lakers are 5th in offense, and he leads them in scoring by a mile. They've been the 4th most efficient pick and roll team in the league because of AD's threat on the roll. AD is personally shooting 62% on touches on the roll in ball screens. He's getting 1.41 points per roll man touch. That is completely outrageous. He's generating over a point per possession in ISO and post-up situations. They're doing a lot of work with him in the middle of the floor, isolating other centers from other teams. He's shooting 60% on hooks and floaters this year. Again, that's not Jokic territory, but that's close. He's been unbelievable. And none of that even comes close to the carry job he's doing on the defensive end of the floor. The Lakers are the 12th best half-court defense in the league, and there isn't a single player other than Anthony Davis that isn't having a bad defensive season. He is single-handedly anchoring a respectable, above-average half-court defense by himself. That is the type of carry job that he is doing. The Lakers are 6-3 when he plays. He sat out for a game in Memphis, and the Grizzlies, without Marcus Smart and Desmond Bane, beat the shit out of the Lakers. They depend on him in every single way. It is a carry job. He is constantly cleaning up mistakes on defense, cleaning up mistakes on the glass, providing the offensive firepower that they need. It's a carry job. He deserves a ton of credit here in the early going of this season, carrying a Lakers roster that has some pretty significant athleticism weaknesses on the perimeter. The Emirates NBA Cup is here, and you can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the best place to bet NBA player props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like picking how many points your favorite player will have. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. The current favorite to win the NBA Cup is Boston at plus 425, with the Cleveland Cavaliers in second place at plus 850. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HOOPS. That's code HOOPS, HOOPS, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Number 2, Kevin Durant. 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists here in the early going of the season. 67% true shooting. That's 55% from the field, 43% from 3, 84% from the line. So ridiculous shooting splits. He's also getting 1.4 blocks per game, which is the most he's had per game since he was in Golden State. I think he's having the best defensive season he's had since 2017. Just the best guy in the team at being 2 places at once. And he is consistently rotating out to the perimeter, chasing guys off the line, getting back, protecting the rim. He has been deployed on ball in a lot of situations when there are specific matchups that the Suns have been having trouble with. He is one of their best defensive rebounders, especially in contested defensive rebound situations. And none of that comes close to the fact that he's just straight up stealing games in clutch situations. He's been the best clutch player in the league, in my opinion, this year. He has 35 clutch points already here through just over 10% of the season. The Suns are 7-0 in clutch games that KD plays in. He's shooting 12 for 19 from the field. And there are specific plays that he's made where he straight up turned losses into wins. They were going to lose to Philly, and he, purely through late game shot making and defensive execution, beat the Sixers. Then that Clippers game on opening night, straight up would have lost that game if he did not hit a right shoulder fadeaway over a double team that sent the game to overtime before they out-executed them in the OT period. Like, he has straight up turned losses into wins. To put it simply, Kevin Durant has been the primary driving force behind a Suns team that was holding the number 1 seed in the Western Conference before he got hurt. He's playing some of the best basketball of his career. It's a comfort thing too. When you watch him in these late game situations, he just looks like he's so incredibly secure in who he is as a player, in what he wants to do when he's on the floor. He has complete command of things. He is, at least on the mental and skill side of the game, is absolutely peaking, and there's enough athletic ability there for him to be, in my opinion, the second best player in the league in the early going this season. And then number 1, Nikola Jokic, 30 points per game, 14 rebounds and 12 assists. That's completely preposterous. 67% true shooting. That's completely preposterous. He's running 15 post-ups per game. No one else in the league is running more than 7. He's getting 1.15 points per possession, including passes out of post-ups. If you took the 6 players that have run at least 50 post-ups this year, and again, he's run 150. If you take the 6 players to run 50, only Pascal Siakam has been more efficient on a per possession basis. And again, he's doing it a third of the time. He's been the best post-up player in the league by a mile. The jump shot has been a complete revelation. He's getting 1.53 points per jump shot. That has allowed him to pop in ball screens. Now all of a sudden he's converting roll man possessions at 1.35 points per possession, which is way up from last year. Spot up situations, he's converting at 1.44 points per possession. That is way up since last year. The Nuggets are over 40 points better per 100 possessions when he's on the floor versus off. I think it's clear that he's the best player in the league. I think the gap between him and the second best player in the league right now is the largest it's been since LeBron James was the best player in the league in 2013. He is lapping everybody. I don't think I've ever seen a more clear-cut MVP favorite through 10, 12 games in my time covering the league. He has built such a wide gap in such a short period of time because no one's playing at the level he's playing. He is basically single-handedly taking an injury-ravaged Nuggets roster with a bunch of guys who are playing below their potential, at least in the core guys. They've got young guys that are stepping up. But again, they're stepping up because Nikola Jokic is so damn good. He can craft these tiny roles that they can thrive in. I literally can't say enough. He's playing the ceiling he's at right now is the highest I've seen since LeBron James. It's unbelievable. It's a pleasure to watch, and I cannot believe how quickly he turned around this Nuggets season when it looked like it was headed towards disaster out the gates with the way some of these guys are playing. It's been unbelievable. I think he's a clear-cut number 1 right now. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys for supporting the show. I will be back tonight live on YouTube after the final buzzer of Mavs Warriors. I will see you guys then.